Welcome to the Graceful Exit podcast. I'm Kimberly Hertz, founder of The Graceful Exit, created to educate, empower, and support women as they navigate divorce. Beginning with us, we are putting a stop to the divorce stigma through meaningful conversations about the emotional and endearing experience divorce often brings. My hope is that you'll follow along on this journey and join our community of women navigating divorce with grace. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of interviewing Gabrielle Hartley, who has developed a book lately that absolutely helps empower and educate this community on those that are either contemplating divorce or going through it. And so, Gabrielle, do you mind introducing yourself both professionally and personally?
Absolutely not. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Yeah.
A little bit about me. My name is Gabrielle Hartley. I've been a divorce attorney and mediator for over 25 years. And when I grew up, when I was 9 and my brother was 6, my parents got divorced. And it was the 80s, and it was a time before there was a such thing as like an amicable, although I'd say there's even a good divorce is not typically amicable while you're going through the process.
Yeah.
They had shared custody at a time where that wasn't so much a normal thing. And they were almost like a little braggy about what great divorce people they were and how well they got along. And I sort of struggled with that when I grew up because I didn't think it was, obviously there was still sadness and anxiety and worry, when I get lost in the shuffle and all that kind of stuff. And by the time I got to law school, family law is the last thing I was interested in studying, but within 5 years of graduation, I found myself clerking for Judge Jeffrey Sunshine in New York City divorce court, where I went on to resolve or help to resolve nearly 1,000 high conflict, trial-ready divorces. And it was during that experience that I realized how great my parents were, how lucky I was, and that most people going through the process don't even realize that there's a better way to do it. And so basically, you can't decide it's going to be a sunny day. You may want to have a peaceful divorce and be married to somebody or getting divorced from somebody who just won't let it be peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And when that's the case, all you can do is modulate how you feel, how you respond rather than react, how you take care of yourself. And when Gwyneth Paltrow announced that she had a conscious uncoupling, I said to my husband, I'm writing the next book that Gwyneth is going to endorse, and it's going to change the conversation. And I did that. I wrote a book called Better Apart, The Radically Positive Way to Separate, which I was very fortunate because HarperCollins bought it and published it. And Gwyneth Paltrow did give me a cover endorsement. And
that's wonderful.
And then People magazine called it the Conscious Uncoupling How-To. And I've been, really lucky. So it's gotten a fair bit of positive endorsements. But better yet, I've been able to go on and train lawyers around the country and mediators to do what you were starting to mention, the Better Apart method. And so if any of you listening are going through a divorce and you're like, oh my God, that is I can't do that. My husband is a lunatic. I can't be better.
Right.
Let me just take you really quickly through what Better Apart will describe in much better and longer detail. Every moment of each of our lives, we have a choice to make, right? We can be the victims of our situations, or we can take the inner strength and fortitude that we all have, even if it's teeny tiny right now in the moment, and make ourselves feel better. And so when you're going through a divorce, there are 5 things that you really have to deal with, and they're all about you. And first I'll name them, and then I'll tell you a bit about each of them. Patience, okay? You got to slow down. This is a marathon. It is not a race. There's little you can do to change how you deal with it, to change the law, to change your ex, to change the lawyers, the therapist, the judge, blah, 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 blah. Patience. Second is respect. Most people's self-respect is in the gutter when you're getting divorced. If you feel like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of practices that you can do, which is mostly centered around building up from the ground up, accentuating the positives about yourself, and start doing things, spending time with people, and activities that make you actually feel good. Even if you think who cares if I'm a good cook? Have a dinner party, do something, even if you don't feel like having a party, cook for your 2 closest friends and let them ooh and ah over your beautiful creation. It'll just give you a little lift because you just feel bad and you need to start feeling better. When you feel better, you'll start to make better decisions. So it's patience, respect, peace. So, I'm not talking about fluffy rainbows and unicorns and clouds. I'm talking about reaching a point of equanimity where you feel balanced, right? And so I'm talking about neutrality. So like next time your ex shows up on time with your kids, you say, hey, thanks for being on time. All the clothes come back. Hey, thanks for bringing back all the clothes. Notice the neutral because it takes the human mind 8 to 10 positive statements for us to hear and engage with a negative. But we hear, so that's the bad news. But the good news is that we chunk neutral as positive. So say as many positive things as you can say. So to repeat, patience. Patience is learning to respond rather than react and taking a step back. Respect. That's about building yourself back up and creating boundaries around the people that are bringing you down.
Yeah.
Peace. That's noticing the neutral. Clarity. That's about stepping away from the cycle of inner blame where you're like blaming yourself. Why did I stay so long blaming them? Why are they such a narcissist? Why are they so selfish? Why are they blah, 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 blah? And start figuring out, maybe a little bit about how you're complicit. We're all complicit in our own undoing. And what do we want next? Let's get clear on what we want. How can we make our own life better, right? Enough about them. What about us? What do we want? Because when you get in the lane about what you want, your attention is more attuned to you and less attuned to what happened. It's where you're going, not where you've been.
True. So true.
And then the last piece of the Better Apart process is all about forgiveness or acceptance. And that doesn't mean you're forgiving someone who treated you poorly. It just means that you're forgiving yourself and accepting things for how they are today and allowing yourself the grace to move forward. Because that's really what it's all about, is like, how do you keep yourself from narrating the rest of your life from that of being a victim of your untenable past circumstance, right? You want to move forward in a way where you're blossoming and you're creating, you have this power, especially if you have children, to create a more positive legacy, right? Like your kids are not the child of a victim. Your kids are the child of this fully graceful, empowered, wholehearted, strong woman who made a choice that didn't work out for any variety of reasons. And how do you move forward from there? And the same goes for if you're a man. I don't know who your audience is, mostly Kim. It's all about putting one foot in front of the other, getting to a close in your case so you're not just sitting there with danglers. Like now I work with people all around the country who don't know if mediation is for them, and I help them. I mediate. I have a really good settlement record. I'm now the co-chair of the American Bar Association Mediation Committee. So I do a lot of mediation. I work with lawyers and litigants and just help. I love helping people to get on a better path forward. And I so rambling,
appreciate that. And I think what I'm hearing the most out of it, it's really taking ownership of what you can control and what you can't control, and just focusing on what you can do in your inner circle versus what's happening on the outside. So quick question, you said mediation and you work across the US. Are you specific to one state, or can you help others mediate through any different platform or state?
Yeah, so I mediate around the whole country. Now I'm a lawyer in New York and in Massachusetts. So I offer a little bit of a more robust service in New York and Massachusetts, soup to nuts plus legal advice. But I have plenty of clients who are not even in this country. I just ask people after our first meeting to go have an informational meeting with a mediation-friendly attorney, because the educated consumer is the best consumer. You're going to make decisions that you're not later going to regret. to be really careful. And so if anyone wants to just have a quick chat with me, I'm happy to pick up the phone for 5 or 10 minutes to just talk about the process. And you can find my contact information at GabrielleHartley.com, both about mediating with me and about getting the book. The other thing is just know that there are so many moving parts. There's there's your financial wellness. There's are my kids going to be okay? There's I've got to start taking care of my body, my mind, my health. There's all these different pieces. And I have this weekly blog, which I'm hoping that Kim is going to be part of, where I have really amazing professionals every single week writing one piece. And if you sign up for the Survive and Thrive bundle at GabrielleHartley.com, you can get weekly access right into your inbox of the Better Apart blog and anything else that's happening around thriving and surviving to get you through and move you beyond your divorce. Now, I just want to tell you one little story. When I wrote Better Apart, I was like, oh gosh, how am I going to get endorsements on Amazon, right? It's all about endorsements. And I don't know, it's like uncomfortable. I never like asking people for that kind of thing. But I did ask like my dad's cousin, whose husband had read the book. He'd been divorced and he kept calling, oh, I love this book so much, whatever. So I talked to my dad's cousin and she's older. And I said, do you think your husband will write an endorsement? And she said, oh, I don't know, Gabrielle. And I said, what do you mean? He said he loved it. And she said, he's so depressed because he realizes the last 40 years he could have done so many things differently.
Oh, no.
So he did eventually write it, but that was good information to me to say that even if your divorce is in the past, there's no time like today to start remapping re-looking at, re-talking, in a different way, because the way we act really impacts the way other people treat us. And the way other people treat us will then inform how we feel about ourselves. And it's really a circle.
I absolutely love it. And then I think what I appreciate most about you and your differentiation factor when you're serving your clients is you're really understanding that it is a holistic model, right? It's just not about mediation, but it's about taking care of yourself, your health. Yes.
Right. And actually Better Apart, I have a really wonderful contributing author. Many of you may know her. Her name is Elena Brower. She is a very well-known yoga and mindfulness expert. And she's pretty big in the doTERRA oil world now too. Elena and I went to Cornell together. And when I wrote Better Apart, I knew I wanted to bring in yoga because I really do feel like this is a whole being process. Yeah. Even though many of us live in our heads all the time, we have to work more in dropping down into our hearts and then integrating the two. So I reached out to her and I said, I really feel like you would be really awesome to contribute to Better Apart. And she did. And so, if any of you are Elena Brower fans and, want to hear a little bit more about her personal journey, she shares a lot of it, as well as some nice yoga work.
Oh, that's wonderful. And again, it's taking that holistic view of your entire body when you're going through this, because it can bring you down.
You can feel divorced from yourself, actually. Yeah. You could feel like you're almost like observing yourself instead of being with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So in closing, is there any tangible advice you can offer this community when they're going through or even possibly thinking about mediation or divorce?
Yeah. So there's two things that sort of go together. One, I'm a very impatient person, and I have learned that slowest truly is often fastest, which
so true.
Which piggybacks to the other one, which is a step back is often the best way forward. Gotcha. So slowing down, taking a step back, taking a pause, taking a break, that will really help you to move forward in a way that makes sense. You're in this for the long haul. So grab a copy of the book, check out the blog, reach out to me. I do my best to reply to all emails within 24 hours and to, even if we just have a couple of minute chat, even if you can't work with me, that's okay. I can maybe hook you up with somebody who is a better match, better suited, more affordable, or what have you.
And then real quick on your mediation costs, you do different packages. Do you want to explain that?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I offer, I call it Blitz Mediation, which is designed around to keep things moving forward. And when you purchase a Blitz package, you save money and you keep moving forward pretty quickly. So it's within a certain number of weeks, right? So I have easy peasy when things are mostly sorted out. I have middle of the road, which is like, 2 kids, 2 W-2 employees, 1 house. You kind of know what you need, but you might need a couple of extra sessions. Then I have, it's complicated. Maybe there's a business, maybe you're not sure how to handle the kids, you need some more sessions. And then, of course, I'm always available to work hourly for people who don't want to be boxed into a time frame. And each of the packages allow for meetings, which are all conducted online in an online setting with the 3 of us, or it's complicated. Sometimes we bring in other professionals, your lawyers, or a certified divorce financial analyst, if that's appropriate. Yes. And I do my best to tailor the programs to you, but they're, you can really be done with the hard part, the hard legal part, inside a month or 2. And if you're in Massachusetts or New York, I can also write your full agreement as well as prepare most of the documents that need to be filed. So reach out to me. There's no charge to just have a chat. I don't actually let people pre-buy anything because it's flat rate, use it or lose it. And I don't ever want to take anybody's money and not have them use it all. So that's why I really encourage people to call me. I will do my best to, talk to you personally and see what makes sense for you. Whether you're just starting, you're in the middle, you're about to go to trial. Oh, by the way, it's not on my site, but nothing I love more than closing the impossible case with you, your partner, and your 2 lawyers all on the screen. I love doing that. A lot of people don't like doing that, but I do that a lot when I work for the judge, and that is definitely my sweet spot.
Oh, I love it. Well, Gabrielle, thank you so, so much for just coming on and having this educational session. I so wish I had your book prior to mine. So it's really important for me to spread the message and give this community these types of resources. So I very much appreciate you and your time and just education.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.